Everyone said the engine couldn't be fixed. It was huge, about the size of a small house, and it looked like it hadn't worked in 100 years. The metal was black and worn, like it had been burned out by time and bad luck. It sat in the corner of an old, shut-down factory, forgotten like some ghost from the past. Big companies had tried to fix it. Even government experts showed up with tools and machines, but no one could get it to work. They all gave up and walked away. People called it a lost cause, something too broken to ever run again. Now the factory was going to be torn down for good. But one person hadn't tried yet. Her name was Maya Collins. She was only 17, with oil-stained hands and a mind full of ideas. She wasn't famous, she wasn't rich, she was just a mechanic's daughter, and she believed the engine still had a chance. Maya Collins wasn't like most 17-year-olds. While other kids were on their phones or hanging out at the mall, Maya was in the garage, elbows deep in engine parts. Her dad, Henry Collins, had been a mechanic all his life. He taught Maya everything he knew in their small garage on the edge of a quiet town called Harrow Creek. The town used to be full of life, with busy streets and steady jobs. But everything changed when the old textile factory shut down. People lost their jobs, stores closed, and hope slowly faded. That factory engine, the one nobody could fix, had once powered the whole town. If someone could make it work again, the factory might reopen. New jobs, new chances, everything could change. Maya didn't have a fancy degree or work for a big company, but she had something better: experience, heart, and a reason to try. She wasn't ready to give up. Not yet. Maya didn't have blueprints or expert tools. What she had were her dad's old notes. After he passed away, she found a dusty cigar box under his workbench. Inside were pages full of hand-drawn diagrams, messy writing, and one strange sentence that stood out. The engine doesn't need more power, it needs forgiveness. Maya didn't know what it meant, but it felt important. These weren't just notes, they were clues, left by someone who had once worked on that very engine. Her dad believed in fixing what others gave up on. Maya took his words seriously. She begged the demolition crew to let her inside the factory, just for one day. The foreman, a tough guy named Burke, laughed in her face. "Kid, this thing's older than my boots," he said. But when he looked at Maya's eyes, full of hope and fire, he paused. "Fine, you've got 24 hours," he said. And with that, her chance finally began. The factory was cold, dark, and smelled like rust. Dust floated through the air like tiny ghosts. But Maya didn't feel scared, she felt ready. She stepped toward the massive engine, holding her father's notes tight in one hand. All night she worked. Her hands moved fast, but her mind moved faster. The notes weren't just about metal and wires, they were about people. Her dad had labeled certain engine parts with names: Agnes, Joe, Ricky. At first, Maya was confused. Then it clicked. These weren't random names, they were workers her father respected. He hadn't just repaired the engine, he had cared about it, and the people who relied on it. Every bolt and pipe had a story. Maya started to understand what he meant by forgiveness. This engine held more than broken parts, it held memories. And maybe, just maybe, it didn't need more fuel. It needed someone to see what had been ignored for too long. As Maya kept working, something strange caught her eye. Behind one of the heavy engine casings, deep in the shadows, she found a small object wedged between the gears. She reached in carefully and pulled it out. A bent piece of metal on a chain. It was a St. Christopher medal, dusty and dark with age. Her heart skipped. She remembered hearing about Joe Hensley, a worker who had died at the factory decades ago. This medal had been his. But something else was even more shocking. Maya noticed a part of the engine that had been welded shut, not because it was broken, but sealed on purpose. It was like someone had hidden something painful away. Her father's words came back to her. The engine doesn't need more power. It needs forgiveness. That sealed section wasn't just metal. It was a memory, a weight. And now Maya knew what she had to do. Maya wiped the sweat from her forehead. Her hands were sore, her clothes covered in oil, but she was almost done. And then, with a loud roar, it came to life. Maya froze, wide-eyed. Outside, Burke dropped his coffee. Workers rushed in, stunned by the noise. Phones came out, videos were taken. The factory that once felt like a ghost town now shook with the sound of hope. Maya had done it. As the engine kept running, steady and strong, Maya stepped forward and raised the chain she had found. Her voice was calm, but it carried through the room. "This belonged to Joe Hensley," she said. "He didn't die because the machine broke. He died saving someone else." The room went silent. Maya continued. "My dad sealed this part of the engine to honor him. But by hiding it, the truth got buried too. That pain never left." People looked at each other, stunned. For years, everyone believed the engine was cursed or just broken beyond repair. Now they saw it wasn't just metal that needed fixing, it was the story behind it. Slowly, the silence turned into soft whispers. Then, one person clapped. Then another. Soon, the whole room filled with applause. Maya had brought more than just a machine back to life. She brought back the truth and a little bit of healing. Within a few weeks, Maya's story was everywhere. News channels called her the girl who fixed the impossible. People all over the country shared her story online. But Maya didn't care about being famous. What mattered most to her was seeing life return to her hometown. The factory started hiring workers again. The streets didn't feel so empty anymore. Even Burke, the tough foreman, cried when he saw his own father's name on a shiny new plaque. Maya had it made and placed at the factory entrance to honor all the workers from the past. As the engine kept humming behind her, strong, steady, and alive, Maya smiled. She wasn't just known as the mechanic's daughter anymore. She was someone who had brought back hope. She proved that sometimes it's not just broken machines that need fixing, but broken hearts and forgotten memories too. And sometimes love is the best tool of all. The engine never stopped running after that day. Its steady rhythm became the heartbeat of the town once again. Every time it roared to life, people remembered what Maya had done. But to Maya Collins, it wasn't just about fixing old parts or making something work again. It was about remembering the people who once gave everything to keep that factory alive. She often stood near the engine, her hand resting gently on the warm metal, listening to its hum like it was telling her a story. Maya didn't need awards or news headlines. She just wanted her father's lessons to live on. He taught her that real strength isn't just in tools or machines, it's in caring, listening, and loving. And because she chose to care, a town got its second chance. Maya's story proved one thing: the impossible isn't really impossible, not when you fix things with love. Even though the engine was running perfectly, Maya Collins knew this wasn't just about fixing a machine. It was about healing something much deeper. The old factory wasn't just a building. It held stories, memories, and dreams. When Maya found that small chain with Joe Hensley's name, it reminded everyone that people had given their lives for this place. Her father, Daniel Collins, didn't seal up that part of the engine to hide something bad. He did it to honor a hero. Maya understood that now. By opening it up and telling the truth, she helped the town move forward instead of staying stuck in the past. Now, every time someone walks by that engine, they don't just hear a machine. They hear hope. Maya showed everyone that fixing what's broken isn't just about tools and parts. Sometimes it takes heart. And sometimes one person's love can bring a whole town back to life. In just a few weeks, Maya Collins became a name everyone knew. News channels called her the girl who fixed the impossible. But Maya didn't care about the attention. She only cared that her town, Millbridge, was alive again. The factory that once stood silent was now filled with voices, tools, and hope. People had their jobs back. The streets, once quiet, buzzed with energy. Even Burke, the tough factory foreman, had tears in his eyes when he saw a new plaque on the wall. Maya had it made in memory of the workers who had built the factory's past, including his own father. That moment proved Maya wasn't just a mechanic's daughter anymore. She had become a hero. Her hands fixed an engine, but her heart helped fix a whole town. And now, every time that giant machine roared to life, it reminded everyone that sometimes love and courage are all it takes.